Welcome everyone to another session of Bharat ke Paramveer. I, Kaustubh Savan, on behalf of Indo Science Education Trust, would like to hand over the mic to Veteran Group Captain Shrikant Walwadkar sir and start this session.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my dear viewers. I welcome you on this episode 17 of Bharat Ke Paramveer on 14 March 2021. Our journey will come to an end probably by 18th of April, another 1 month. What a wonderful time I had, and I am sure, or I hope that you also have enjoyed this journey of 21, 22, or 23 episodes of Bharat Ke Paramveer, organized by Indo Science Education Trust. I do not wish to sound like a farewell speech giver, but let's start our journey today. The difference now is that all the operations and wars, henceforth, I was fortunate to participate in every action or operation from now onwards. So first episode now is before we start our journey, our salute, our respect to the families who suffered and to those 21 Paramveer Diamonds, heroes of India, the necklace of Bharat Mata, they shine and we pay our respect to them. A message for the young generation. अब तुम्हारे हवाले वतन साथियों. Today's hero is Captain Bana Singh, Paramveer Chakra. Date of birth 6 January 1949. Operation Rajiv. He hero has of armed forces on 26 June 1987. Captain Bana Singh, for his bravery, he was given the highest gallantry award, Paramveer Chakra. And fortunately for us, he is one of the three living legends, though he's retired, uh, but he's alive to tell his story. And we are very lucky to have him with us, alive and giving us some motivation. Captain Bana Singh, life before joining and after leaving Indian Army. Bana Singh was born in Kadial, a small village in Jammu and Kashmir, on 6 January 1949. His father was a farmer and his uncles from his mother's side as well as father's side were soldiers in the Indian Army. He was enlisted in the Indian Army on 6 Jan 1969 and began his service with 8th Battalion of Chaklai, Jammu and Kashmir Light Infantry. He participated in the 71 war as a young soldier, but the moment of reckoning came in the Operation Meghdut when he volunteered for Operation Rajiv on 26 June 1987. He retired from service on 31st October 2000 in the rank of honorary captain. He is settled in his village Kadial and is busy with farming and trying to cope up with the time lost by staying away from family while in service. He is a true example of Jai Jawan and Jai Kisan. His son, second generation, Rajendra Singh, has also joined the Indian Army and is in the same unit as his, that is Jaglai. What of the proud moment for my father. Yes, welcome to the group of the world. Fortunate to participate in these operations right from day one. So I love this area. About 3 years back, I again went to this area to visit. That was after 5 years. I was in '84 there, and when I met these people there, what a wonderful nostalgic memories I had. No, our Siachen. Our problem is that we are very away from national borders. We just don't know what Army, Air Force, and the Navy or the warriors do there, and that keeps us away from their family sufferings. To know them and to their dedication. So let's know our Siachen. Siachen Glacier is a battlefield on the rooftop of the world. Sia means pink roses. It's a valley of pink roses, Siachen Glacier. It's home to the world's tallest mountains, snow-capped tops, landscape of towering peaks, beautiful ridges, deep crevasses, and velvet folds with ice walls that rise up to a mile high and hug the clouds. What a beautiful weather for a visitor. The peaks there are as high as 21,000 feet. Temperatures go as low as minus 45 degrees centigrade. Oxygen is just 20% of the quantity in the plains. What we in Maharashtra abundantly get oxygen. The oxygen there at that height is just 20%. Your lungs demand oxygen, but the oxygen is not available in the atmosphere. You have to cope up with this. This is not second largest, longest non-Arctic glacier in the world, with around 75 kilometers long, square kilometer long river of slow moving ice, surrounded by stupendous towers of snow. The results of this weather, it adversely affects the body organs functioning also. It spells of the human beings. We experience the spells of fainting, memory loss, loneliness, unbearable headaches, and frostbites. These are few challenges nature throws on the human beings in that area. Now let's move to Operation Meghdut, control of Siachen Glacier. In 1949, when first Pakistan war we won, Karachi Agreement had taken place in 1949, where the boundary lines, borders were decided between Pakistan and India. The ceasefire line was drawn in Jammu and Kashmir, in Pakistan occupied area also, up to the grid point of NJ 9842. From there onwards, till Aksai the area is beyond this point, NJ 9842, is inhospitable, non-habitable, where not a blade of grass grows. This is a very famous quote of the then Prime Minister of from Jawaharlal Nehru. Not a single blade of grass grows. It remained unmarked because there's no nobody could live in that area. It's so inhospitable, non-habitable terrain. So it was decided, okay, let's keep the boundary up to 1942. The status quo in the action and thought process was maintained in Shimla Agreement. So the boundary beyond 1942 remained unmarked. So in Shimla Agreement also, between the two heads of governments of after 71 defeat of Pakistan, this status quo was maintained beyond 1942. However, issue was complicated when Pakistan ceded 5180 square kilometers of Indian territory to China in the area where boundaries of three countries, China, Pakistan, and India, meet. Pakistan also started insisting on obtaining their permission for the foreign mountaineering and scientific expeditions and a cartographic intentional mischief by China. They showed this area as belonging to Pakistan. Expedition by Colonel Narendra Kumar. The presentation will not be complete unless we mention his name. Recently we lost him, but he was one of the few soldiers of Indian Army who went on expedition, and on return in 1978 he went in that area as a mountain expedition. He saw the telltale signs of foreign expeditions taking place there without India knowing about it, and Pakistan giving permissions in this area and earning foreign currency for the country. Colonel Narendra Kumar confirmed that these adventurous activities are going on by the Western neighbor and their all-weather friend China. The news also was received that Pakistan army was planning to take over this area by end of April 1984. Alarmed by these adventurous mistakes, Indian government planned and instructed the armed forces to conduct a joint operation of Army and Indian Air Force for occupation of the Siachen Operation Meghdoot was planned. 13 April 1984, I remember that date when I was in Leh posted, and then from there we went to Thrice and further to base camp, etc. Operation Meghdoot we participated. What a fantastic, just a charged atmosphere. I could share my experience. Helicopters were there, army movements were in a very large scale. So on 13 April 1984, we conducted Operation Meghdoot. 4 days before Pakistan had planned operation to occupy the area on 17 April 1984. When we went to England for purchase of Arctic gears for our army, uh, we came to know that Pakistan also had ordered the equipment for their army from the same supplier. And this alarmed us. So we planned our activity on 13 April 1984 and we occupied these areas. The units under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Military Brigadier D.K. Khanna were moved on foot to avoid detection of large troop movements by Pakistani radars. The first unit tasked with establishing a position on the heights of the glacier was led by Major and later on Lieutenant Colonel R.S. Sandhu. The next unit led by, we should be very proud. The next unit led by Captain, the then Captain Sanjay Kulkarni, secured Villa Fonda, the nearest point to the Karakoram Pass. Captain Sanjay Kul, the then Captain Sanjay Kul protected, and that's our job. Indian Armed Forces, we feel very proud that yes, our life is not only dignified, not only financially secure, but it is meaningful. Udara Bharana no he jane jaye apne karma. Yes, while walking in the snow at 21,000 feet, 18,000 feet with oxygen of 20%, yes, the food is necessary for us to keep our physical strength, uh, physically fitness we must have. Avalanche, you may remember we had an avalanche. This happens. Look at the intensity with which the snow comes down. The individual or who can be alive in this situation? Only those who can fly. Otherwise, it's just a matter of seconds that you go below 35 feet below the snow. This is a danger in that area. Very frequently, our troops experience this. Yes, it's our hero, that time now is Naib Subedar, Honorary Captain Bana Singh, Primary Chakra. This is the Indian post, Sonam post, and this is the post which was occupied by Pakistan Army under the leadership of the then Brigadier General Pervez Musharraf. And this, there was a straight wall formed by ice, and if you, and it's directly under supervision from here, at tallest mountain, Pakistan had, as per their will, they would fire at the Indian post, and this had to be vacated. That was the job to be undertaken. And when Captain Bana Singh went there and occupied this post, this post was named after him as Bana Post. And Captain Bana Singh, Naib Subedar Bana Singh, who volunteered for this operation, received Paramveer Chakra. We will hear that. From Quaid to Bana Post. Quaid Post by Pakistan, 21,000 feet height with ice walls of 1,500 feet on either side. So it was very secure. There's no question of anybody climbing over the ice walls. It's just impossible because one loose thing and you will be uh, below in the crevices. You will go in the valley and nothing will be seen. After that, you will die. So this was very, and the access was only from the front side, which was very difficult because you are under directly on the line of fire. The then Brigadier General Musharraf had planned this operation, and on 18 April 1987, this from this post, Pakistan occupied and renamed the post as Qaid Post as a mark of respect for their first Prime Minister Qaid Azam, and it was called as Qaid Post. On 18 April 1987, they fired on the Sonam Post. We saw this. We'll go back. Uh, Yes, this is the Sonam post, and this White post, which was occupied by Pakistan Army under the leadership of the then Brigadier General Pervez Musharraf, and they fired on this post, and two of our soldiers were killed. On 20th April 1987, Naib Subedar Bana Singh was posted to Siachen. 2 days after this incident, uh, Naib Subedar Bana Singh was posted to Siachen as a aid Jackley unit moved there. He volunteered to evict the enemy from the white post. His age was around 38 years. 29 May 1987, Lieutenant Rajiv Pandey, young officer, Lieutenant Rajiv Pandey and his team made an attempt for recce of this area and for laying the ropes on vertical cliff uh, where this was necessary to help our people to climb over the wall. On the way back, uh, the white post Pakistani soldiers fired at them, and all of them were killed. They all became shaheed. It was a big shock for everybody. On 23rd June 1987, on the night at 0800 hours, Operation Raji was launched under the command of the then Major Virender Singh. Uh, However, it could not succeed, failed due to the weather. See, the winds blow very strong there. 45 kilometers per hour is a common wind speed, and then the snow, the visibility goes down. There's no indication in the. It's like a snowfall everywhere. There's no references with which you can move forward. So, death of two soldiers due to hypothermia, and there Virender Singh and his team had to return to base. On 26 June 1987, five-member team led by Naib Subedar Bana Singh, who again volunteered to lead this team, climbed the 1500 feet ice wall and surprised the enemy and captured the post. Now, on 18 April, two soldiers were killed. On 20th April 1987, Subedar Bana Singh gets posted to this area. On 29 May 1987, Lieutenant Rajiv Pandey and his team all get killed from the by the post. On 23rd June 1987, Major Virender Singh's attempt fails. Now on 26 June 1987, on 25th June, west deep snow, strong ice winds, 40 kilometers per hour, followed by snowstorm, visibility almost zero, temperature minus 45 degrees. This is the area where you are fighting not only with the Pakistani soldiers, but mainly with the weather, nature. Now, if you if you go through the same route as Lieutenant Rajiv and other, then the result would be the same. So it was decided that Captain Bana Singh, the then Naib Subedar Bana Singh and his five people would climb from the unexpected side, the wall, clean straight wall of 1500 feet. They will climb and then surprise the enemy. Very dangerous, very, very challenging. But if task is tough, the tough people achieve the task. That's what it happened. Climate in these conditions, a big challenge. Hands were frozen. They had to take care of their arms and ammunition. Slipping of hands is not allowed because he will straight away go down the valley and nothing can be recovered. Two soldiers of these five slipped. Their bodies could not be recovered. Only Naibal Bana Singh and two more reached up to the distance of 15 meters from the post. They were told to wait because two more soldiers would reach them and together they must move. They spent whole night in the open with strong winds, minus 40 degrees temperature in the open. Then attack was planned at 0530 hours in the 1630 hours in the evening. Uh, Now the visibility and the sun visibility also is so low that the time has no significance, much significance there. Accordingly, all the five started moving, and the team was led by our heroes, Naib Sabidar Bana Singh, at the age of 38. Now, machine guns stop working in this weather because you have to that sub-zero temperature. Machine guns don't work. Now, what was left with them was the hand grenades. As soon as they climbed on top and reached, hand grenades could be hurled at the enemy. Bana Singh reached a bunker where these soldiers were taking rest. Pakistani soldiers, he just quietly opened the door and flung a hand grenade inside the bunker and latched the door from outside. It blasted. All the people inside the enemy soldiers were killed with this action, but others who were on duty, they became aware, yes, something is happening here. Uh, Now, since machine guns and rifles were not working, it was hand-to-hand combat, one hitting the enemy outside. It was done. During this time, Major Varinder Singh and two more soldiers joined the Captain Bana Singh team. LMG could be used on only single shot mode. Automatic mode was not working. Major Varinder Singh got four bullets in chest, but he refused to leave because he wanted to be there as a commander. This is the character. After that, the eight soldiers, enemy soldiers, they jumped on from the cliff. Instead of getting arrested by the Indian soldiers, they preferred the death. Later on, this post was taken over. Indian senior officers, military officers visited that place, and Captain Bana Singh, he was sweating, and but in that dirty uniform, everything, the senior officers went there, he hugged him, and then it was decided that why the post would be called as Bana Post. It was renamed as Bana Post on 27 June 1987. On 26 January 1988, Subedar Major Bana Singh was awarded India's highest military honor, Paramveer Chakra. The Operation Rajiv also resulted in one Mahavir Chakra, seven Veer Chakra, and one UISM, Uttam Yuddha Seva Medal, and one Sena Medal. International humiliation of Pakistan Army in general and then Brigadier General Musharraf in particular in 1987 was one of the reasons of General Musharraf's failed adventure in 1999 Kargil conflict. Veteran Subedar Major Honorary Captain Bana Singh now is almost 75 years young. He takes care of his farm in his village. He is a living legend who is following that famous 1965 slogan Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Yes. Subedar Major Honorary Captain Bana Singh Paramveer Chakra with his son Rajendra Singh, who joined the same unit 8 July at the age of 18 years. And what a proud moment. proud moment for a father. Die when bullets pierce their hearts and heads through their uniforms. They don't die when they fall before an enemy onslaught, or even when they get buried in trenches, staining the earth with their warm crimson blood, or worshipping Mother India with their warm crimson blood, as per traditions of Indian armed forces. It's only when we forget their acts of bravery and or suffering of their physically alive families that the soldiers really die. Rachna Vishrawatin Harmukh, the brave. I appeal to everybody, every Indian, you should not be one of them. Acknowledgement, I wish to acknowledge, I express my sincere thanks and acknowledge the following sources for their contribution to completion of this presentation. Photograph of the statue at National War Memorial, New Delhi. The source, then https en.wikipedia.org, public.bana.singh, https encyclopedia wikipedia.org, wiki operation underscore Meghdut, Rawat Rachna Vish the Brave Paramveer Chakra Soldier Stories, Penguin Publishing House, India 2014, Rawat Rachna Vish Paramveer Gatha, translated by my friend Bhagwan Dattar, on Rohan publication in 2017. Yes, finally, Rashtraya Swaha Idam Rashtra Idam Namama. Jai Hind. I have finished. God bless all of us and our Bharat Mata. Jai Hind.